Listen, I was the first one to admit last week that team killing is always going to be funny. It is, especially the angrier someone gets. And even though maybe selling your teammates out to the enemy isn't really my cup of tea, I think there's an argument to be made that if you like team killing, you have to enjoy or at least accept that team betrayal is also something that's on the table, sure. But here's a line you can't cross. And this is a line that's drawn in the sand. If you decide to step over that, you are scum of the earth. Sonru tossing Emul was a level of betrayal I didn't expect. I really thought they were ride or dies, you know? I thought, you know what? If they're all about to get jumped, at least they'll go down together. No. Sonru said, hey, this hungry mob, they ain't here for me. Could you imagine if in Pokemon, anytime trouble was popping up, Team Rocket was up to no good, if Ash Ketchum just allowed Pikachu to be stole off? You know how much betrayal these little kids would be feeling? Emul may not be real, but Emul deserves better than Sonru at this point. I couldn't believe my eyes. Thankfully, the betrayal ended up with a clan alliance, at least they all agree to it, and honestly, the fact that Arthur decided to get 100 million out of this one guy, 20% of her debt gone, but Jesus, what a swindler. The entire meeting was just fantastic, top to bottom, because both sides are there for two very different reasons. And while Shangri-La Frontier is definitely cancelled after this episode, luckily it's getting renewed because, Jesus, that cliffhanger has me very excited for more. I have full live reactions over on Patreon if you want to see my full and good thought to any of these episodes. You know it's over there exclusively. So, they didn't have an SLF theater this week, which was surprising, because usually they do, right? But I guess when you have such an intense meeting, they just put all the attention and time into the episode, which I'm not complaining about. It's very uncommon for the show to do, so it did catch me by surprise when the credits finished playing and there was no mini theater to kind of consume. Not that I think they're like the greatest parts of the episode, but they always are pretty fun, so I guess I was a little sad not seeing it this week. But I guess, you know, the Clan Alliance cliffhanger needed to really sit in. I do think there will be a bit of pushback on that, but I think it will overall happen. So, the issue with Sonru is that he's in a situation where he has to start giving information, but at the same time, he doesn't want to, I guess, lose his pretty comfy life, because when he goes to the rabbit area, it's really all on him, right? Like, a lot of that stuff, like, he is tackling it, and very much he wants to be the first one to probably clear that whole quest line. So, even though a lot of the information surrounding that is well known, like the fact that, hey, you can be recruited to go deal with some serpent or a boss fight or whatever, but apparently the normal thing is they push you out after. So, when you have one of the guilds, which is basically obsessed with cute animal-like things, they just want to go in and be able to experience that. Where, you know, different guilds might want to rush, and then Sonru would really have to probably compete. Because the thing about being a gamer, especially if you can do something for the first time, I mean, they were the first people to beat one of the unique monsters, right? So there's a lot that he has to give away, but also not. So the first big part of the conversation was all about the unique monsters. And something that I didn't expect, but makes sense now in hindsight, but I never really thought about it, was the fact that the first boss we ever actually see in the show, like from a character's point of view, is the wolf, right? And the idea that we just stumbled into it, right? The thing wipes the floor with Sonru, but the idea that he brings up the fact that it's not just simply about discovering, there's also a quest line associated. So certain ones, sure, you might be able to stumble into. Maybe it'll be the dragon one or the octopus in the ocean. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the corresponding plot line active with it, the thing will be invincible. Like, it's not designed to even lose health or whatever else it may be. And that's something I didn't think of. So it'll be interesting because even though it's not guaranteed you're going to bump into, and it probably is very rare, if not like 0.0001% chance you will even run into one of these bosses randomly, if you don't have the questline active with it, you're probably not going to be able to do anything. Which makes sense if you go by the logic of how the Weathermon fight worked. The other thing is that, you know, as we're giving all this information, the other side, which is obsessed with the cuteness of it, wants how the hell to get in. And poor Emul, man, like, got bribed with food that wasn't even there to then basically, Jesus Christ, if I have an out, I'm out. And I don't even know if she's going to come back through that door, if I'm being honest. Like, she got strangled to near death. Though they did kind of reveal something I don't think anyone probably saw coming. Apparently the big boss that we've been dealing with isn't even the big boss anymore. It's his son. So another rabbit we're gonna have to get introduced to, of course. But the idea that, you know, most likely just did so well as leader and still has a lot of respect, the dad that we've been dealing with all this time isn't actually the one in charge. So it'll be interesting to see, because I'm not sure exactly where they're going to go in terms of letting more people in, because honestly, once you start letting more people in, the more those people will probably discover quest lines, which maybe will make Sonraku have to rush a little more, because right now he can really go leisurely. He can go casual, doesn't really have to give out too much information, and, you know, he slowly but surely opens up and gets first experience to a lot of this stuff. Once it's all cleared, I don't think he'll really give a shit. He'd probably sell the information off, similar to how Pencil does, right? But at the end of the day, it is something that's exclusive to him as it stands, so you don't want to give away too much, but at the same time, you kind of are in a very good situation. Both sides are offering you basically anything you want for the information, so owing a favor to someone, and it can be literally anything, is kind of invaluable. This show has definitely become one of my personal favorites. I mean, I was saying as much pretty early into the second core of Season 1, and the fact that Season 2 is just continuing the trend. And honestly, you have to give major props to this studio. Like, they had a very quick turnaround between seasons, and I'm very much hoping this will be a long-running show for them, because it deserves as much. But look at how, like, I doubt we're gonna fight the octopus thing, the octopus monster from the assortment of bosses this season. But honestly, the way they handled, like, 3D and stuff for that was actually really well done. Like, this show knows how to do production. Whether it was near the end of Season 1, there was some 3D with I forget what they were. I'm drawing a blank on exactly how they function, but those things when Sonraku is climbing up I think it was like crystal designs. I think, what were they, scorpions or something like that? Those looked really good for something that easily could have been fumbled. And honestly, I think just the way they stylize everything, even when things do go 3D, they keep it almost having a 2D aesthetic, which really helps blend in with the 2D backgrounds and character models in the forefront, or even the background, right? The show's amazing. I do think we have to cancel it, just because, I mean, my boy betrayed. I was expecting betrayal from anyone, but to toss essentially the Pikachu to his Ash and say, nope, we gotta cancel it. Luckily, I'm also gonna renew it all at the same time, but don't ever do that again, Sonraku. It's going to be interesting if he actually does remove the marks, though, because that's part of the thing. It's a very easy thing to do. And even though, as he says, it has benefited him some ways, he would also like to be able to equip whatever. Which, if we look at the opening, he does seemingly have different equipment on. So I guess we are going to remove the mark, which is pretty interesting. I didn't think they would ever do that. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. Let me know your thoughts and feelings, and especially on that Emul betrayal, because that was some BS. Thoughts down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around, of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Trap Senpai, Andre, Zia, and we also have Darthwin Wright, so I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, you all have a good one.